My name is Chris Bailey, and I'm the author of Intentional: How to Finish What You Start, and Hyperfocus.
Why values are essential to goal attainment.
So often, when we don't follow through with a goal, it's because the goal is misaligned with something called our values. And I know what you're thinking. Whenever I hear the term values myself, whenever I have heard it, my eyes have kind of glazed over a little bit because there's a lot of advice out there about values, how we should connect with our values, embrace our values, that isn't rooted in science. What comes to mind for me is these cheesy corporate exercises where somebody will come in and they'll give you a list of 100 different values, and you're supposed to circle the one that you find most in. I just want to circle the whole page. Everything on there I like. I love humor. I love grace. I love this. I love that. But the research shows there are 12 fundamental human values that we all share. Every single one of us has these, but in different amounts. And full credit, where credit is due with these values, to Professor Shalom Schwartz, who pioneered the theory of fundamental human values in 1992. So the thing to know about our values is our values are our motivational core. They are at the core of everything that we want to do and everything we don't want to do. On a very, very basic level, we're either compelled to enrich other people or ourselves. That's the first kind of polarity that we have. And the second polarity that we have is we either want to conserve things as they are, or we want to improve or change things as they are. So we have that basic polarity at the heart of us. We all point in a slightly different direction between those. And that creates our values. So our 12 values that we all share in different amounts, they blossom out of this fundamental orientation that we have. The first value is self-direction, which is going our own way. It's thinking our own thoughts. Stimulation, which is novelty, it's excitement. Then we have pleasure. Could be everything from eating a delicious burrito to taking a relaxing bath. Achievement, right? Accomplishing things that you're proud of. Next up is power, which is having dominance over resources and also other people. And curiously, out of all the different values, this one is the lowest, both cross-culturally as well as generally. And there is a certain need for it, though, too. Every congregation has a priest, for an example. Every city has a mayor. So there is this intrinsic structural need for it. Face is the next value, which is avoiding humiliation while preserving how you come across to other people. Next up is security. And this includes both personal security, but also societal security. Tradition. This is loving the norms and customs of the groups that we're a member of. Conformity. That's abiding by the expectations that other people have of us. Humility. It is recognizing your own significance, or some might say insignificance, in the grand systems that we're a part of. Universalism, which is protecting the welfare of people and of nature. And finally, benevolence, which is kindness. It's serving others. We all have some of these values in spades and others in very, very low amounts. And knowing which ones are strongest for you uniquely is one of the most helpful, if not the most helpful thing that you can know in goal attainment. So when you look at this list of values, you'll probably find that some of them jump out to you. It's like, oh, that is me. That describes me to a T. I am benevolent through and through, or I am self-directed through and through, or pleasure is what I'm after in my life, whatever it might look like. And then you probably have others that are, ugh. ugh, I don't want that in my, I don't need, for me, I have that reaction to conformity and to power. I don't want to have power over any other person ever. I find it awkward. Um, so you can probably identify the top two that you have at this point. For me, again, it's self-direction and pleasure. Maybe it's benevolence and tradition for you, whatever it might look like. Try to base your goals around those values. Edit your goals so they fit with them. There is that next level that you can take. There are a lot of scientifically validated values tests because there simply is so much research around this theory of fundamental human values. I partnered with Professor Schwartz to create one and distribute it to readers of my book. But you don't have to take that. You don't need to pay a dime for this stuff because you probably have a lot of intuitive responses within you, in that self-reflective capacity that you have, that tell you which ones are strongest for you. So our values shape the intentions we set without even realizing it. So if you find that when you have a bit of downtime, for example, you find yourself gravitating to doing certain things, to, serving others through your value of benevolence, to reading a book because of your value of self-direction, whatever it might look like, you'll find that your default intentions are already shaped by your values, right? They work hand in hand with one another. But when it comes to setting deliberate intentions, you'll find that what you gravitate to will be in line with the things you value. You'll want to double down on the values that you already have. And in my view, there are no good or bad or right or wrong values. There definitely are certain values that are more conducive to certain goals and to certain situations. And so when a goal is something that we are struggling to achieve, it can often be because it's misaligned to the values that we have. So if you value self-direction, which is going your own way, but a goal on your list feels like you're conforming to somebody else's expectation, you're probably going to rebel against that goal. You're not going to want to do it. There's going to be some part of you that feels deep inside of you that's like, no, get this goal out of my face. And it's because we have this visceral reaction when something isn't aligned with the things that we value. So let's say you have a goal on your list like, write employee handbook for the next calendar year. That might actually be a goal that feels like something you have to conform to. It fits with that value of conformity. You're not going to want to do that goal. But let's say you value benevolence, kindness, right? You can reframe that goal around benevolence. So instead of write employee handbook, it could say mentor new employees and welcome new employees through the handbook update. So it's a simple reframe. It might be the same set of actions that you take to accomplish both goals, right? They might look the same from the outside looking in, but to you, they're completely different because one is aligned to what you actually care about. The other just feels like something you have to do. And so really, when a goal sticks, it's because we found a part of it that we can deeply and fundamentally connect with. And when a goal hasn't stuck, when it's just kind of something that we've been struggling to achieve for a while, that can be a sign that we need to edit the goal so that it's more in line with who we are. Maybe we need to see it from a different direction. Maybe we need to experiment with it a little bit to approach it from a different way instead of trying to will ourselves into some change. Lose that body fat, Christopher. It can be more, how do I enjoy this process more for myself? How do I make it more pleasurable? And how can I be kinder to myself in this process too? They all look like the same thing. That's just embracing who you are and what you value.
Want to support the channel? Join the Big Think members community where you get access to videos early, ad-free.